Welcome, everyone. It's a Maine Stand Minisode. The Minisodes have always been fun around the Maine Stand. We can go back to the FIFA draft of last year, the stadium draft. All good vibes on the Minisode. But today, it's about the World Cup. I just inhaled that smoke.
I'm really sorry. I have a problem.
We want to really promo Slapshot Session Ale, Maine Mariners. Go out and watch USA England at Monument Square. And we want to make sure people are buying the packages, going to the Mariners later that night, but we want to do some World Cup content.
Yeah, as well. So this episode today, obviously, every single World Cup, there are absolutely absurd upsets, just crazy games that happen. You think back to, like, Russia beating Spain, I think it was, in the Russia World Cup. You think, it wasn't really an upset, but, like, Germany thrashing Brazil in 2014, just like crazy games, crazy things that have happened. So today we're just going to share two with you that we feel like really stood out to us. One of them is in honor of the USA England, and then the other one is in honor, just talking about, it could be possible that a team as great as Argentina with a player like Lionel Messi loses to a little minnow.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll dive right into it. We'll start with our fellas, the guys in the USA. So set the scene for you. It's 1950. It's post-World War I. England and the USA are drawn into a group along with Chile and I believe Peru or one other nation, but that's not the super relevant part.
Spain and Chile.
Spain, Chile, the USA, and England are all drawn to a group in 1950. For context, in the 50s, England were known as the kings of football. Post-World War I, they had only lost 4 games. They had won, I believe, 28 or 23 in the build-up to the 1950 World Cup, including a 4-0 win over Italy and a 10-0 win over Portugal in the 2 weeks before we get into the tournament. England were 3-1 winners, 3-1 to win the whole tournament, I believe. And the USA was comprised of 11 guys who did not play the sport professionally. There was postmen. There was a dude who was a hearse driver for his family's moratorium, just to name a couple of random professions. There was a part-time teacher that actually could not get time off to come to the World Cup and play in the squad. So a bunch of semi-professional guys going up against arguably the best team in the world of 1950. However, that did not stop the USA from pulling off what is known as the miracle on grass. The USA rocked up to this game, played on a garbage pitch with a brown leather ball, and they beat England 1-0. Later went on to lose to Chile on the last day and crash out of the group stage. However, that game was so crazy that the BBC thought the result was a lie and had to confirm it before happening. And it was not initially aired in the U.S. because they also thought the result was a lie and someone sent them a fake result before officially confirming it. Papers all around the world were blown away at the fact that this team of 11 semi-professional players, just really want to make that clear, fucking milkmen.
Some great names, if I just can interject. Some great names in this roster. Charlie Colombo, John Sousa, Frank Wallace. Some great American names.
Violently American names. So first, it's just a general thought. Times have clearly changed since then, right? We're not favorites going into this game against England in this World Cup by any means.
England are not the kings of the soccer world right now.
Either. Exactly. So a lot of stuff has changed. Just general, how do you think it felt to experience that, to be American, to be a soccer fan, and be like, holy fuck, we just beat England at that time period?
I'd love to get the vibes of U.S. soccer fans in the 50s.
All 12 of them?
Supposedly at this match, all the people cheering for the U.S. were Brazilian because the Brazilians didn't want England to make it to the final. So they wanted the U.S. to get knocked out. So it was like 10,000 people were at the game, was the
reported attendance. Yep.
And all of them were cheering for the USA.
And the lone goal scorer was born in Haiti.
Yep.
Which is wild, yeah.
That's very, very funny.
Like, just, if you take the year out of it and you just display the facts, the names, the score line, the attendance, where it was held, if you take all this information and take the year out of it, it's such a wild thing to experience because the era we've grown up in, we grew up in kind of like like the football revolution in America. We were kind of born at the right time where the U.S. women are getting crazy good. We grow up watching players like
Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, Tim Howard, Carlos Bocanegra, like really, really good U.S.
Right.
Fuck him.
And now, 15, 20 years later, we're waltzing into a World Cup with a squad of players who are playing in the biggest leagues in the world. These guys are full-on professional footballers. Yeah, it's taken 72 years. It's been 72 years since 1950.
If you got a text now, if you weren't watching the game that the USA beat England, would you believe it? Or would you think it was a hoax?
I would believe it. I would believe it. I'd be shocked. I'd be like, oh, no fucking shot. That's sick. But I would believe it.
And you know
Fair
what?
enough.
I'm ready for some belief on Black Friday this year.
I'm not. We're losing, but...
We get an official watch site in Monument Square in Portland downtown.
I'm going to turn up for it.
Which is so sick.
We're ass.
So sick. So, on the back of that USA-England matchup from 1950 where the U.S. came out on top, just come see us.
Yeah.
Come hang out with local football fans. There's more than 12 now. It's been 72 years, and the USA and England are matching up yet again. Portland, Maine, 2:30 p.m. kickoff, I believe. Doors open, I think 1, or sidewalk opens pre-game.
I'm just showing up.
And then the Maine Mariners hosting a very gracious VIP package. Includes some tickets to the event, some beer, a limo ride from Monument Square down to Re-Raws, a scarf, and ice level tickets to the home game. You also get a 4-pack of the Slapshot Session Ale.
Watch some hockey to drown out your sorrows when the U.S. get bodied.
So second game too, we have the other upset. Cameroon and Argentina.
This one, I personally think this game is a little more insane. Sorry, I got to pull my notes up here again. So, set the stage for you a little bit again. 1990. It's the World Cup is in Italy at the moment. We're at the San Siro. Diego Maradona's Argentina are rocking up to the stadium. Group stage game, Group B. Cameroon versus Argentina. In the early 90s, African football was not really viewed the same way it's viewed today. It didn't really have the players like the Salahs, the Manes, the Yaya Toures, the Didier Drogbas, the Seydou Doumbia to an extent. It didn't really have... These players kind of had this aura around them that like really elevated African football to like the respected level that it's at today, where there's like a lot of these like top class players, like the like Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah again, Koulibaly, just to name a few like really high level African players. And the world didn't really view African football like that in the 90s, unfortunately too, because there clearly were good players, which is why we're about to talk about Cameroon beating Argentina. Diego Maradona's Argentina in 1990, 1-0. Not down one man, down 2. 2 red cards. Second one, mind you, was in the 89th minute, and it was just a case of Masing is his last name. I don't know his first name. Murdering an Argentine player running down the wing to stop him from running in on goal. Omam Biek, I'm really sorry if I'm butchering these names too. It's just, I'm a stupid American. But Omam Biek scores the lone goal for Cameroon in the 67th minute. 6 minutes after the first Cameroonian red card in the 61st minute. Kana Biek, not gonna... Maybe brothers?
Maybe.
Possibly. Sure. It's hyphenated, so I'm not really sure. Again, I'm just going off of the general things that I know. No disrespect intended here. And this match, from my understanding, really was kind of like the springboard for African football. It kind of put these nations like in conversations for things. People were like, oh, there really is talent in African football now. And then the whole of Africa kind of really got behind Cameroon because they ended up getting out of their group, and I believe they fell in the quarterfinals to England. But like the whole of Africa got behind Cameroon and like really rooted for them and kind of like propelled them forward through this World Cup. So it was a really big moment for both African football and then just like football in general. You know, it was Diego Maradona's Argentina losing
those
too.
Those guys were bad boys back in the day.
Diego Maradona's Argentina losing too was just like a crazy thing to experience, especially to a team that went down to 9 men at one point, and they couldn't score on them. They were up, they were up a man for almost the better half of half an hour in this game.
One of the most prolific footballers, just legendary goal scorers, somebody who's going out fighting, gritty, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he'll rainbow you and then he'll 2-foot you 10 minutes later. You know what I mean? Like that was the Argentina that they were up against.
And the fact that they're up 2 players and still can't get through that side is
it's impressive. It's a testament to the will of the Cameroonian team. And
then 20 years down the line, they earned their first World Cup too. South Africa Africa as a whole getting the World Cup in 2010 and
scoring a goal.
It's cool to see that in 5 short cycles from that game
to 2010
to host.
Yeah, they're hosting a World Cup,
and that's an unbelievable story because the time time turnaround is quick.
We're going into a tournament now where there are teams like Senegal who can give the best European countries a run for their money. A lot of people are like Senegal, or they could be good. They give a lot of trouble. Erling Haaland was talking the other day about, just like World Cup stuff, and he was like, yeah, I think Senegal are a very good team, very really talented players. I think they can give a lot of teams that don't respect them trouble.
It's also like Senegal, Egypt, like it's on TV, it's on ESPN. We all sat here and watched it,
right?
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so that
wouldn't have been a thing.
That I think the importance of that game not only is the fact that like Argentina lost. The importance of that game is also like it really propelled African football forward. It feels like into like not to exactly where they are today, because a lot of very talented players have always been there, and now that they're getting the chance to like be a little bit more found in Europe, and there's been a lot of talent that's come through in the past few years that have like really propelled these nations forward. But it's good to kind of see that game against Argentina as kind of like a springboard, so to speak. And we wanted to recognize how crazy of an accomplishment that game was, and like let you, the viewers who may not know about this game, now you can go Google it and learn from somebody who's not my dumbass a little bit more about the game.
And you can shout in the comments other upsets that we might have missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what are your favorite World Cup moments? Your favorite World Cup upsets?
Drop them down there. Let us know what we missed. Shoot us a DM on Instagram, stuff like that.
Personally, I think USA England 1-1 is my biggest upset.
Shout out Rob Green one time.
Yes.
Yeah, that
was the Minisode.
Quick Minisode, hitting on a couple of crazy World Cup upsets. Yeah, like we said, let us know that on the comments, any that we missed or that you think we should talk about. Do a part 2 to this during the World Cup if you want us to do that.
Come experience maybe another upset. USA England Black Friday.
Yeah,
you're a lot more optimistic than I am.
I'm trying to be. All
right, and that's an episode.
Deuces.
See you guys.
Peace.
Like, comment, subscribe.